Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lifetalkpod with Bami. I'm your host, Bami, and today we have a very wonderful segment for you. I think this is our 27th episode, and we titled this topic "Stages in the Life of a Man." That's and it's a series that we're trying to bring to you. So, from the adolescents to the youth, straight to adulthood. Today I have a very wonderful guest with me here to talk about the youth stage in the life of a man, and I hope it is very educational and inspirational for you guys. It's the season of life filled with energy, ambition, mistakes, lessons that we carry forever. The youth stage is that stage where the space between innocence and responsibility, where choices start to matter, but the future still feels wide open. For many men, youth is when identity is shaped, when dreams are born, when you know the first cars of life start to appear at times. But this season can also be confusing. There's pressure to figure it all out: your career, relationships, purpose, why the world keeps changing faster than ever. And in the middle of it all, young men are trying to answer the questions: who am I? Where am I going to? What kind of man do I want to become? What kind of family man do I want to become? So today we are dividing into the stage of the youth. So we want to look at the mistakes, the milestones, the mentors, the mindset that defines it. Whether you're living through the season right now or you're looking back on it with the wisdom of hindsight, the conversation is for you because what we do with our youth often sets the tone for the rest of our lives. I want to introduce my friend Wally. So how are you now?
Yeah, I'm good. Good to be here again. How is everyone?
Uh, yeah, it's nice to have you here. During the course of the program, another person is going to join us, and if it doesn't join us, that's just be me and Wally speaking. When we talk about the season of youth, what words or images come to mind?
All right. Talking about youth, I think
Mm,
let me look at it from the perspective of it depends on growing up or our environment. I think that's what defines it.
mm,
But when we talk about youth, it's what the first picture that comes to mind is a free will person, someone that is just there to live the life to the fullest and enjoy whatever comes. So I'll say that's the first picture that comes to mind.
mm. So, like, what now makes it such a defining stage in the life of men that are aspiring to be men?
Okay. So youth generally comes with the energy and discovery. I would like to use those words because as a youth you are energetic, you are alive, you're living that life, you have the strength and the capacity to do all and be involved in everything, and then you're in your discovery stage because that's the stage you tend to discover so many things. And the biology or the definition says when you become a teen, an adolescent, that's when you're being seen as a youth. And that's the period you start to
Mm,
see things about yourself, even from puberty. That's when the puberty stage comes in. That's when you start, as a man, you start discovering you are growing hair, you're doing this, thicker voice. As a lady, you change, your body system changes also. So I think youth stage is basically about discovery, about the energy you have. It's a period of risk taking and then developing dreams. I'll put it like that. Yeah.
So, so basically, so if you don't now discover yourself while you're in your youth stage, because most people, I don't know whether most people don't discover themselves, but if you don't discover yourself when you're in youth stage, like for purpose or career wise, do you think you've missed it, or do you think that yes, the future looks brighter if you don't actually sit down to know what you actually want to do while in your youth?
Okay. So I think it's actually related because when we say discovering yourself or not, the sincere part is whether we like it or not. Even if you did not do something, you're still discovering yourself in the other way around. So discovery is either negative or positive. Time does not wait for anyone.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, you're getting old. And then as you're growing, time does not have to say, oh, this person has not discovered his purpose, let me wait for him. Or this person has discovered his purpose, let me
Mm,
go faster. So time is at his own pace then. You discovering yourself now depends on
mm,
what are the things that you want to make do of your life. That's why I say it depends on our growing up. If you grow up in a home where possibly your parents are doing certain things, you might aspire to become that, and then you believe that is self-discovery.
mm,
But something has influenced
mm,
that self-discovery and for you to reach that level. So people saying they
mm.
discovered themselves is just for them to be able to, with a starting push or a motivation that now says, oh, this is where I want to be. But it depends on our environment, the people we will live with or grow up with.
No, yeah, thank you so much. I think for me, I want to describe beauty in one sentence. I mean, freedom. How does that relate to the possibility of engaging in future endeavors? Because from certain age to certain age, your parents, then from that early adolescence, I'll be sorry, from the late adolescence to some certain age, then you try to, break out and make it out on your own. So is the freedom, is it confusing at that stage, or what are the possibilities of you trying to push out to be able to be the man you want to be? How has freedom cost most youth, um let me say, their success or failures going forward from that moment?
Oh, that's a good one. So freedom is often I think is often misunderstood with liberty. Let me use that word. Some of us have the liberty to explore things, but we don't have
Yeah.
that freedom to actually go for it. So let me just pick a little bit of point from my own growing up. When I was growing up, my father, at a point in time, even when I wanted to explore to go and do things to actually make some amount of money, my father would always say, "Oh, no child of mine is going to do anything. Just face your education and go to school. I'm paying for your school fees. I'm buying you books. I'm buying you that. I don't want to hear anything." So he did not. I felt he didn't give me that freedom at that moment in time for me to explore myself. But I
Mm.
had the liberty
Yeah.
to be able to do that. I had liberty to go and learn maybe behind the wall, but the freedom was not there because he felt he was helping me just for me to focus on education. So, what freedom now, it depends on how
Mm.
you now see that chances of you going to. That's why I said the word youth, it comes with energy, discovery, risk taking, which is all you having that chances of doing that. It's just like when we were growing up, you see
Mm.
children playing with water. It's the level of freedom that was given to them. They would play in the rain, play with mud and all that. They are free to do that. You get now? They are
Yeah.
at the learning stage. So freedom
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
as freedom should be a learning stage. We should see that freedom at that moment as we need to use it to learn, to develop ourselves. Because from 0 to 30 years, that's the level of freedom that you have to develop and grow yourself, and then you need to learn. So when you have that freedom chance, you
Mm.
need
You know.
to, okay?
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
I agree with you personally. Honestly, I do, because yeah, yeah. I can. Yes, I said I agree with you personally, but
Okay.
I think legally, when you're 18, you're considered an adult. Like any crime you commit, you are legally able to stand and account for yourself at that age. You understand? So looking back, one moment from your youth shaped you to be the man you are today, because you're one of role models I actually consider to look up to. So for like, I know you're not a youth anymore. So let's not, oh, you're still a youth.
So
So looking back, what was that moment from the days that shaped you, or that made that gave you that mindset that yes, this is kind of person I want to be, this kind of person I choose to be, moving forward.
okay. So I think what shaped that was the fact that, like I mentioned before, my dad was someone that did not want to say that no, don't go and do this. So I had to go against his instruction at that moment. Although a lot of youth are faced with that decision of either going against their parents' instruction and decision just to try to explore something. And that's what makes us youth, like we say. Even when they say don't do that, we still
Mm,
want to explore to see how it is. If it turns out good, we come back to show to their face like, hey, after all, I've done it and it's good. If it turns out bad, we still come to meet them like, okay, I'm sorry I did this. You advised me, but I did not. So I think my turning point was the first activities or the first job I was involved in. I just had to go against his will, and then I think I went for that job and did that. On coming back, when I was paid, for me to just compensate him, I bought a phone, mobile phone for him then. So when I bought the phone for him and I came back and I had to explain, I actually wanted to use the mobile phone to as as a getaway card so that he wouldn't be extremely angry for me going against his will. But in the moment of giving that, he did scold me. But when he made some certain level of prayers, then it was a turning point for me that, oh, so I could do things as a young man to make my father happy. And I could receive this level of prayer and blessing to the extent the following morning, even when I saw him, he was like, how are you? How was your night? Oh, then I felt like a man at that moment because I could provide something and I made him proud. So that was my first point. For the fact that I was able to put a smile on his face and then I did something
mm,
that was positive. So that changed
mm,
my mind. So, and from this day onward, I need to do things to be able to provide for myself and then take care of the people around me. That was the turning point for me.
mm. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So looking back, were there decisions that you made while you were in that stage of your life that you see differently now as an adult? Like then when then when you are a young adult, a young man, I think you're carefree. If you have this doggedness to be just don't care or just try to live your life or enjoy life. But I think as you grow old, as you try to become a family man, you see things that even you say is it me that did this? It's like, how did I think? How did I come out of this decision that I took at that time? So like, are there decisions that you feel like most youth make that they feel differently when they now become adults?
Okay, so yeah, there are so many decisions then that we would make. Looking back now, you would feel like, oh, I shouldn't have made this. So one good example is like after buying the phone, I think I just
Mm,
wanted that. I just wanted to show like, okay, I could make money and I could do this. So there were some level of experience, exposure, and then some information that I was not privileged to. That's why we can't take away the place of experience in whatever we're doing. We can't take away the place of knowledge about some certain things.
mm,
Anything we're doing, there's a lot of decisions that are there. There are so many. I would even start from there are so many things I could make money then start buying as a then, which presently, if I look back at those things, oh, I don't think I'm very sure I would hold myself back then for doing all of that. But the thing is also
mm,
part of what has now built me to the man I am now. Because if I had not experienced all of that, maybe I wouldn't have the experience and the knowledge I have presently now about those things.
mm, mm. So so how do you now think the experience of youth today is now different from when you were growing up?
Okay. The
Hello,
experience of
can you hear me?
growing, Yeah, yes,
Okay,
I
you
can
can
hear
hear
you.
me.
Yeah. So I think one key point is
I you okay.
can you hear me now?
No, I need to know. Okay, you heard me. Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So it's quite very clear, but it's not a I wouldn't say it's a thin line, but it's a very clear line. The difference of me growing up then and now, because I was privileged to be in the millennial era and then the Gen Z era all in two. I grew up in an era where you learn from people, you see first-hand learning, you
Mm,
go through stages of life to learn. Then I moved into an era of a whole lot of people learning from the social media, the internet, and a system of a change. So I think as at that time, what has made it different from now is the generation that we are, the level of information that we have access to. As at then, we had little information, so we have to make the best use of that information. I was having a discussion with someone some days back. Growing up within the area that we were staying,
mm,
there were times in the evening when we would sit with the elder ones, the older ones, and then we had discussions and dates and all that. Then they tend to tell us things they are going through, things they are seeing, and things they're experiencing. And then these are one-on-one conversations. Then we tend to see how they are doing it and we start to pick from them. Unlike now that everybody just go to the
well,
internet and then they start learning, or they start just picking up, they start filtering what suits them and what does not. But at then, we would pick one bros in the area or pick one big man in the area and say, oh, I want to be like this person. Then we start emulating and following what he's doing. Then when we're gisting and having conversation with whatever he's saying
mm,
are things that we tend to assimilate, tend to learn. So I think that's what makes it different. I don't know. Right now, all those things are not possible again. A whole lot of youth don't even sit down with adults again. They'd rather be on their phone, their mobile.
mm.
And so the learning system is totally, or the
Yeah,
experience
yeah. That yeah. You made mention about social media. I just wanted to just like reaffirm what you said because I want to know how social media has changed what it means to be young today because you see many people that don't actually take most things seriously because of what they see on social media. You see some people that become radicalized because of what they see on social media. You see some people that take some kind of decision because of somebody that they saw take that decision on social media. So how has social media now changed the culture or what it means to be young in this day and age?
yeah, yeah. Yes, it has actually changed a lot. Now, reason why I say it has changed a lot is the fact that if you go to social media now, depending on what you're exposed to,
Mm,
imagine a young person of let's say 15, 16 years listening to Miles Morrow, Les Brown, and all that. These are motivational speakers. When he hears what they are saying, he starts picturing a future, a very large and big future for himself. At that moment, he's not looking at
yeah,
he's a youth. He needs to explore something. He needs to learn. He wants to become whatever these people are talking about. Imagine a youth sitting down and listening to the likes of Elon Musk, um, Bill Gates, and some bigger people talking about how they started, how they did this and that. He will start looking at that. Now, his mind is now skipping that youth stage of him learning. He's now going to an adult
yeah,
stage, which those people are. So I feel social media has actually had a bigger role to play in the life of youth. We don't even know when we are youth or no more. We just want to know that once we see something on the social on the internet, we want to become that. And then we skip the stage of you're learning, you're growing, you're developing, and then you're meant to make mistakes. A whole lot of you don't want to make mistakes again. They believe mistakes
yeah.
is failure. But failure is a progress. Failure is a means to success. But they believe failure is bad.
No, I think the reason why most people don't want to make mistakes is because, like, I think now if you make the mistakes, I think it is much more broader than before. Before there's no without the use of social media. If you make the mistake before, it's just you and your family members that can know about it.
You know
But
about
now somebody somebody in Somebody in Paris can know what you did while you're in Nigeria. Or somebody in London can know what you did while you're in the US. It's just like you, but so and you can. I think your mistakes are put out the public square, and you can't from there. I don't know. Some people, and it's not a funny thing. Some people have actually given up their lives because of that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. You're right.
Just because of the consequences of probably the actions or not. I'm not sure, but like I think there was this year that this school children that I think this school children this school in Lagos that went on a vacation or something, or a trip, and you saw their students, like those young kids having this sexual intimacy thing, and like those kind of things can actually you know be much more damning than just before. Before now, like you said, if you just do that thing, maybe it's just your community that can know about it. This thing blew up in social media. There's this man that they said it was in, is it Gambia also, that was sleeping with people's wives. It was before. It would just be in Gambia that now the whole thing was trending on Twitter in Nigeria and everywhere. Like so, I think the reason why most people are afraid to make mistakes now because I think the consequences are more dire than before. But like so how can we as young men now balance ambition, relationships, personal growth in these early years of our age?
Okay. Ambition, relationship, and what's the third one?
Yeah. Personal growth.
Okay. So it's always how would I put it now? First of all, we as youth, we I think we're losing the place of mentorship in our youthful days. We're losing that
Mm.
part, and then we all believe we can do it on
No,
our.
no, that's my next question. That,
So I mean,
that,
we're losing that part
that,
of in our early stage. Then it tends to affect
yeah.
because if we don't have someone to mentor you to help you strategize, and then we don't plan anymore as youth. There are
Mm.
no plans. So if you mention um, personal growth, ambition, and relationship, they are all intertwined. If you look at it very well, they're all they all mix together because your personal growth and your ambition are two things that will make you now achieve a certain goal that you have set for yourself. And then your relationship also matters because relationship is not just about the opposite sex, but your relationship with your family, your relationship with your neighbor, your relationship with the people in your community, and then the relationship with people you work with or that you move around with. So relationship goes a deeper way. So whatever people you're moving with, let it align with your ambition, then your personal growth will now come in because whatever you're doing for personal growth will help your ambition to be achieved. Personal growth is about you trying to learn a
Mm.
skill, trying to learn how to do one or two things. But when your personal growth is totally deviating from your ambition, then how do they go in? And then your relationship life is, how would I put it now? It's totally out of it. Your relationship life is you're mixing, maybe you're moving with people that are into, let me use the word, gamers. There are some people that they love games a lot. Do you get now? Now you want to become a financial expert in the future, and then your relationship with the guys that are always playing games, and then your personal growth is not based on I want to learn how to go hiking, I want to learn meditation and all. How do they align? So
Yeah.
we're in a world of too many information, then we don't know how to filter down the information to suit whatever we're trying to do. So whatever we're doing, we need to
Well,
uh
that's why.
together. Yeah.
And that, like you said at the beginning of the whole discussion, like I think the role of mentorship. In our former one of our former episodes, like we talked about the role of mentorship. You guys should go watch and see that. Mentors are like there for you to be able to tutor you and guide you in the way, because with them at least you can see that they've told the line that you're trying to go through. They've been, most of them actually have been through what you are going through, so they know exactly how to get you out of it, how you can maneuver, and come out of the other end successful and fulfilled. So I think many at times the youth of nowadays, they don't believe in mentorship anymore. They don't have mentors. Everybody's on social media now, and nobody wants to put down the phone and live in the real world anymore. So I think that's part of the problem. But like you said, you have to align the ambition, relationships, everything has to be intertwined, because so that you can know how you can actually balance them. If they're not intertwined, if you go and like if your ambition and the relationship, for example, I think if you meet a partner that you guys are not aligned together ideologically, two of you cannot say you're going somewhere and another person is going a different way, and two of you can sit down and align. No, it won't work out. So those are things that you have to. Those are the challenges and choices you have to make as as a person. So just trying to wrap up now. So how is it not important for young men to discover who they are before committing to big life decisions?
Okay. So discovering who we are, I think I would say our parents have a key role to play in that, because most times they tend to shape us to who we grow up to be as teens before we mix with the society to tend to start
Yeah,
having other information. Our parents tend to shape us to a certain level. So whatever they show us, they are the first set of mentors that we have. So knowing our ambition or who we want to become, it's now still based on our character, our self um, understanding, and knowing who you are. If I think I don't know presently now, but I can remember then growing up, we were exposed to trying to know if you're an introvert or an extrovert, if you are this or that, knowing your personal traits and all those things are very
yeah,
important in the life of a youth. You need to understand these things because they tend to help you to develop yourself and know the kind of person you want to be. Now, I could remember it took me years. I could say a few years back, that was when I was just doing a little bit. That was when I understood the fact that in our secondary school days, we had the people that were called counselors in school, but they were not really doing their work.
yeah.
These are
We
people that
do.
are supposed to counsel us as youth. They're supposed to put
Yeah,
us
they
on
were not. They were not. You can't. They were not because yeah, they're not doing that because most of them were not professionals in that field. I think they
no,
just applying, but I don't even
no,
know.
they don't even know what they are
But
there. The only thing they are there for is to start coding you. You're not doing this. Why are you following this? Why they tend to focus on areas that are not in their job description. So these are people that should have helped us to
mm,
discover the kind of person we want to be. A whole lot of people will be going to science class when they are supposed to be going on art or commercial. So you get now. So it starts from that stage whereby you pick a certain class
yeah,
which you're not even sure of. But because of peer pressure, then they will say the science class are the most smart. No, you want to act smart, then you go there. So it has actually affected them. By the time we now grow up and then we're finishing our investigations, we don't even know where we want to go to. You get now. But one way that we could do that is know yourself.
mm,
You
yeah,
get now. Try to understand yourself. Do a self reality check. What are the things I like? What are the things that I don't like? What interests me the most? What are my interests? Am I good with talking to people? Am I the in people? Am I good with this? Am I good? So every youth needs to do a reality check. It's not just about I've gone to the best school or I'm doing no. Do a reality check of what you know you can do best or not. Which areas are you good? So I think reality check is one major thing that we need to work on. Then health self awareness. Let me put it like that. Yes, there has to be self awareness. You need to know yourself. You don't have to wait for people to define you before you will not know yourself. By the time you discover yourself, you'll be able to know which area you want to go to, and then you pick a career that aligns with that.
yeah. I wanted to also follow up with that. Like, so how can we now stay grounded? You know, in a world where we are chasing success in the noisy, competitive world nowadays. So how do we now stay grounded in such situations?
Okay. So staying grounded in such situation, you now have to develop that let me see the word now. You now have to develop that self preservation. You need to have that mind of your own. You need to have a mind that you're not easily distracted, but you're focused. Yeah, a focused mind. Thank you. So
Yeah.
we need to work with a focused mind so that you know that whatever you're doing, even if something wants to distract you, first of all, get to the end of that first stage before you now look at whatever is a distractor. So a focused mind will help you to be grounded in whatever we're doing because we live, like you said, we live in a world of too much information, and then we're trying to achieve so many things. But being focused and then know this is the goal. Okay, always achieve one goal at a time, but keep learning about other things as you go on.
Mm.
But make sure you get to a certain stage from one, because we're always a whole lot of youth now are fond of getting halfway and then moving to the next possible one that they feel is the trending. So you need to try to complete one, move to the next.
Okay, so I want to go into the closing reflections now. So I just want to have two questions. The
Okay.
first one is so how can you know youth now you know now how can men look back on their youth days with gratitude rather than regret? And if you could give one final piece of advice to young men growing up, coming up now, listening today, what would it be?
Okay. So first way you can look back and not look back with regret is the fact that you need to accept that whatever has happened is part of what has built you, or it's part of what has made you into a man that you
Yeah.
are. That is why if you hear a situation of recently within the social media, there's a story of a guy that treated his wife badly and all that, beating her and all that till she died. And then there were so many information, there are so many things attached. But one question I ask is people will always say, whatever trick that man does is from his growing up, his background. So any as a man presently now, whatever you're doing, always look back and know that even if you have made mistakes, let your mistakes be a sign of knowledge and learning. That you use those mistakes as learning. Because when you start mentoring others, then your mistake becomes a point of growth for someone else. Do we get now? So learn to see that your past mistakes, your past deeds are more of a learning phase instead of a regret. By the time you have it at the mind that, oh, I should have not done this, then what if you are not done it then? Are you sure you still be where you are today? Will you be the kind of person you are today? So your past should just be a reflection.
Um. Okay. I think Wally is gone for now. Uh, but he'll be back very soon. I just want to quickly say, the youth season is filled with much energy, much life, much ambition, much lessons. So we can carry it forever in the sense that the energy that you spend, you know, um, going after things that don't matter, you can actually channel such energy to things that actually matter, things that can actually be of benefit to you and be of benefit to your future self, or you that wants to be responsible for yourself, for your family, for your wife, for your children that you would like to care. So the choices start to matter, and the future still feels wide open for many men. So the youth stage is when the identity is shaped. It's when your dreams are born. So it is you that know what you want to do with that time of your life. That you need to try and gather yourself, try and make most use of the time, because I think it goes fast if you're not utilizing that time well. So whether you're back, so can you just wrap up for us? Like I said, you just went off. Sorry. So I want to know what advice you can give to young men listening today
Okay.
or listening to this program.
All right. So just one advice I would give is live the life. Don't overrush yourself. pick one stage or one issue or one situation at a time. Know that you are at the
Mm.
developing stage, you are at the learning stage, and whatever happens, you are growing, you're developing. Even in web development, every app that we have online is always coming in versions. You see version 1.0, version 1.2, version this and that. So coming up with all of that, you should know that life is not just a tic tac. Life is in a process. Take life gradually steady, grow with it, and in every situation, try to get people to talk to, mentors, and don't be a closed person. Try to open up and learn from everybody around you. So that's what I would say.
Thank you so much. I want to appreciate the time. You've been, you've been always wonderful and really supportive of me, and I really want to just say thank you. As we wrap up today's conversation, I just wanted to give my own 2 cents. The season of youth, and here's what I hope you take away from this whole conversation: that the time is not just a time of freedom and fun; it's a time of building your foundation, building yourself, building characters, building careers. The choices we make in these years, shape the kind of man you want to become. It shapes the kind of man that you will become. But they don't have to define you forever. Mistakes can become lessons. Failures can become a fuel for you to be able to propel yourself to success. And even detours, like if you take a detour to do something, it can lead to purpose if you're willing to learn from them. You see someone that went to school and just said, okay, let me just try this out, and from there you can just find yourself in such situations. So if you are in your youth right now, I want to just use this season wisely. I want you to build habits that will serve you later. You seek mentors that will guide you better, and don't be afraid to dream big, but also don't be afraid to fail forward. Honestly, and if your youth is behind you, you can you know I think I'm passing the stage now, so just reflect on it with gratitude. You pass on your wisdom to someone who needs it, which is what we're trying to do now, and become the mentor you once wish you had. So every season of this life, of this stage, has value. But the youth gives you the chance to be able to write the first chapter of your story with intention. So you make them count. You make them count. And I want to thank you so much for joining this conversation. You can find us on all social media platforms at Lifetalkpod with Bami. I'm your host Bami. Thank you, and share this episode with someone who needs encouragement in their journey. And remember, what you build today will carry you into tomorrow. Thank you so much, Mr. Wali. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Please subscribe, share, like. Bye.